it is time to go over the shortlist for the Ursula K. Le Guin Award in Fiction. This is the third year it's running, and last year I read all of the nominees, and I loved doing that. It's just a fascinating collection of works. It does have a prize award for the winning author, and I believe you can only win once. It is always jury-based, so I think there are 5 people who nominate the books and then also judge them, I believe. And this year, I think they did open it up for suggestions for nominations. And yeah, I was very interested in the list, mainly because if you've been watching my reaction to reviews contents earlier this year, I was incredibly underwhelmed by the Nebula and the Hugo shortlists. And then the Locus Awards awarded basically everything to just, the standards. T. Kingfisher, who I do love, Martha Wells, who I understand, Anne Leckie. It was just very samey, very boring, very safe and predictable. And this award, I always get told of small press things I've never read before. It's always an interesting range of speculative fiction. Young adult is in the same place as adult, in the same place as novellas and novels and sometimes short fiction. It's all over the place. And I find that fun. So we're going to go through the list. I have a bunch of them out from the library. I have everything but one book out of the library. I've actually read 2 of the books already, which way ahead of the game for me. I don't remember if I read any of them last year. And yeah, let's just go into it. And I've briefly looked at synopses for these and the vibes I think I'm going to get from them, but I haven't read them yet. That will hopefully be a future video where I wrap up my thoughts on all these books, just like last time. But I just got so excited and put in so many holds when this list just came out because it's one of my favorite awards. I just think it's really fun in terms of giving me new things to look at, which is my goal for this award, right? I always talk about awards mean different things. They measure different things. This one, I just think helps really find hidden gems. So if you want a hidden gem focused award, and if you don't mind when things are a little more literary based sometimes, I'm not going to say they always are, but that's definitely part of the weird blend we have going on here. So first, the ones that I don't have physical copies of, so I don't forget. Nevo's Mammoths at the Gate. This made the list. I have read it. I've already talked about in other videos. This was fine for me. Completely fine. I don't get on with the Singing Hill cycle as much as other people. This one focuses a lot on grief and how storytelling can help with grief, can help you come to terms with things that maybe you didn't know or have trouble processing. It's not a bad story at all. Nevo is actually, I think, the only author who I notice on this list who is also unlike everyone else's for the Nebulas and the Hugos. Nevo seems to cross all of it. I still think Siren Queen deserved more, but here we are. And then the other one that I don't have is Sift, and I actually don't know what this one's about because I haven't had the physical book to read the back of it. I think this is a novella, so it's pretty short. It's really small indie print. I could only get it from one of my libraries physically, so I'm waiting to get that, but this is one of them. I'm interested in it just because I truly know nothing about it. And then the other one I have read that I do have in my stack because I just straight up own it is Those Beyond the Wall by Micaiah Johnson. This is kind of the companion sequel to The Space Between Worlds, which I definitely thought deserved more when it came out. And I really like this. It's different than The Space Between Worlds, even though it's in the same world and has some similar character overlaps and similar science fiction concepts. But this one, we're definitely focused more on the culture outside the domed city. And there's a lot of anger and resentment and interesting thought experiments for how we resolve struggles. I'm just really happy to see it here because I just think Micaiah Johnson does a really good job for me, So bare minimum, I approve of one book on the list. And then the rest is this huge stack. And I'll probably end up just showing pictures because these are all library copies and they'll be absurdly shiny. But I might show it just to show length of book if anyone is curious. But let's start with Orbital. So Orbital is really small. It's really cute. This is apparently by a UK author who's written other things, and it looks like it's going to be very slice of life and very introspective. I think in general, the premise is we are traveling around Earth very fast in its orbit, the space station, and we have people from all different countries on this space station, and I think we are looking at this 16-day journey. And it's going to probably be reflective on what they're observing as people on this space station looking at Earth, but also probably their lives and how they interact with the world. So I'm expecting it to be more literary bent, slice of life-ish. A lot of the back of the book says exquisitely written. So the writing's either going to work for me or it's not. I have access to the audiobook. It's 5 hours, so it's at least not that long. The book that I have to read, like, I mean, I'm going to let myself DNF whenever I want because, like, that's who I am. But this has been on every award list this year. I don't even know if there's been one where this hasn't been mentioned, and that is The Saint of Bright Doors. It's about this long. I tried to read this back when I was reading Nebula books, but I ran out of steam because I got very depressed that week, probably. I don't know. And it has a very unique writing style, at least especially in the first chapter. I've only read the first chapter and a bit of change in the second, so I'm trying to get back into it now that I have some more motivation. But I believe it's more of like a contemporary speculative fantasy where we have this character who it feels very fairy tale at the beginning. Like his mom's cutting off his shadow and things like that. That reminds me of Peter Pan a lot for some reason. I guess Peter Pan and his shadow sort of thing. He can see things other people can't see, but I think after we're through his childhood, he's an adult in a city trying to make connections. He has therapy. So I don't really know where it goes and what the bright doors mean. What I can tell you is this has been on every award list. So obviously a bunch of people from different pools, because every award has its own pool of people, are like, this book. So I'm going to read it and figure out my opinion on it. It's definitely a very strong, unique writing style. Debut author, interested. This one looks really cool. And it reminds me, if you've ever read the book Grief is a Thing with Feathers, it reminds me of that, but it's different, even though I think there is maybe some thematic overlap. And it lasts forever and then it's over. And I believe this is about a character, and it's really short. This is one of the novellas on the list. The character is dead. And we're following this person who's dead, but doesn't even remember their name or really specific people. They remember memories and feelings. And I think they're existing in the world and they're our narrator. So again, I think this is going to be very literary fiction, speculative bent, like the speculative element is ghost sort of thing. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Very, very small book though. Kind of reminds me of like Clarice Lispector books, but I'm excited for it. Now we have a young adult book. I believe it's young adult. And this is The Library of Broken Worlds by Alea Dawn Johnson. This is how it looks. I have read one story. For sure, I might have read more. But she worked on The Memory Librarian with Janelle Monáe, and that's one of the novellas that I read in that collection, and I actually really liked it. Funnily enough, this is another library story. From what I can tell, we have a character who has a unique affinity with parts of the library and can go deeper than other people for reasons, and they have to, and there's maybe conversations with gods that haven't been had in a while. I think it's a standalone, and I'm always, interested. And it's a Nebula award-winning author, so obviously someone who's appreciated in the space. I like that it's purple. It's got some nice it's got some nice spacing between the words, so I like that too, even though the font's kind of on the small side. So I'm curious about this. Last year, the middle grade young adult book was interesting too. It's called Wolfish, and I like that they prioritize trying to make sure they represent books targeted to younger age groups, because the whole idea is Ursula K. Le Guin wrote in many different facets and genres and age ranges. Like her Earthsea series was for children, right? So I just like the breadth of the award. I think that's a really good example. Now here's something that's just more, I think, just mainstream science fiction that's been working for people today, and that's Some Desperate Glory by Emily Tesh, who has novellas out, but this was their debut novel, and it's about, I believe, a prickly heroine, and it's about that big. And yeah, it's a thrillingly told queer space opera about the wreckage of war, the family you find, and who you must become when every choice is stripped from you. Because I do believe body autonomy is a big part of it. Like, our main character may be forced to have children for some reason. There's definitely military sci-fi trope energy. And usually when you're reading a military sci-fi, you know there's something wrong with the system and we're going to be bucking up against the system. I've heard generally good things. I have been curious about reading Emily Tesh, so I'm glad that this is forcing me, because I wasn't really going to read the Hugo's list this year, and this was also on the Hugo list. So this is a crossover from the Hugo over, but it wasn't on like as many lists as, say, Nevo or The Saint of Bright Doors. This next one I am both curious about and scared of, and that's The Siege of Burning Grass. Part of it is because Premi Mohammed, I think I said that right, Premi Mohammed, I read their novella and really liked it. I tried to read their short story collection and I didn't really like it. And this is long. This is a novel. Their writing style is unique and maybe a little dense for me. It's kind of like how I like Malka Older in a novella setting, but I don't love her as much in a novel setting. I think that might be a translational property for this author, but we'll see. I don't even remember what this one's about. I just knew the author. Oh, there is betrayal and potential war, and the things you do when, I guess, you're trying to figure out how to use your skills to maybe prevent more destruction, but you do have to choose a side. I think it has to do with war and being a scientist in war. Yep. He should refuse to serve the warmongers, but what if he could end this pointless war once and for all? Is that worth compromising his own morals and the principles of his fellow resistant members? So yeah, like I said, it's about conflicts and who they affect and what you can do in a conflict to both benefit the cause, but also what does that mean in the long term, etc. And then the last one is The Skin and Its Girl. It's this big. This is, I think this is going to be definitely more literary fiction, based off the synopsis that I read for it. Basically, we have a girl who is digging into her family's history, and she is, I don't know if she was born and raised in Palestine, or if her family was. It says a young queer Palestinian-American woman, so Palestinian-American, so she might have been there and then moved to America, or maybe her family immigrated or emigrated, because Palestine is always having a lot of issues, especially right now. And it's about her digging into the past of, I believe, her aunt and learning things she didn't expect. I think both family history-wise, but also potentially speculative, magical realism adjacent vibes, I think, is the general sense of it. The cover is fascinating. I don't believe the author herself is Palestinian, but I read actually the acknowledgments already just to get like a sense, because it felt like kind of the story where it's like, well, how much research was done? And it looks like a fair bit of research actually traveled over there and everything like that. So we'll see. It's definitely one that I am curious about and I have in my hand from the library. So that is the shortlist. I don't really know when they're going to announce the winner. I know last year I didn't give myself much time to read them, and this year I don't know. I mean, right now I'm in the mood for a project, but a lot of these aren't, like, some of them are kind of more tropey, so maybe I can try and intersperse starting with something heavier and then switching to a tropier one and kind of hopping back and forth, because I'm not someone who can just read lit fic too hardcore without burning myself out. But I do, like I said, I love the range. I love trying to highlight voices that don't get as much mainstream appeal. Because even though, I bring up The Stain of Bright Doors is on, like, every list, it still has, like, so few ratings on Goodreads. So even though I think it actually would work for a lot of the people who, like, because Goodreads is for people who read, like, general fiction, sometimes lit fiction, and romance, fantasy romance. Like, those are the main people who use it. And this probably would work for, like, lit fit people. But at least that's my impression based off only reading, like, a chapter or so. So, yeah, let me know if any of these books intrigue you. Which ones had you heard of before? If you think I will like it or dislike it. I would rather you hype me up, though. So only tell me I will dislike it if you think truly, like, oh, Angela, that does a thing you hate. I've seen you say you hate this thing. Then you can tell me. But otherwise, hype me up. Because I want to have fun momentum for doing this project. Just because, I don't know, I'm really, like, 2023 was not my favorite reading year. And I just want to find books that convince me, no, I was just looking in the wrong spot. And if you have nothing to say and you just want to leave an emoji to let me know you're here, the first book I'll probably read is The Saint of Bright Doors. And I don't know if there are doors. So do door, cityscape, or house for The Saint of Bright Doors. Or I guess you can do a yellow or blue emoji because it has that fun tiling on the cover. And otherwise, like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.